Boom. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is it? Today's Friday. Yeah, it's happy Friday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. So, yeah, happy New Year's Eve, everybody. I know everybody's out probably celebrating, getting ready for a long night ahead of them, but I decided to come out with another review for you guys, and today we're going to be taking a look at one from Hoosier Brewing Company. They are literally the state over for me. They're out in Indiana, and I'm pretty damn excited about this one just because I haven't had many beers from this brewery before. I think I've had a few when it comes to maybe like one or two before, but they definitely like playing around with a kind of beer that I'm really a fan of right now when it comes to those heavier fruited kind of sours, which is what we're going to be drinking today because we got one from their Spin to Win series called Quad Berry. It's a 4-berry fruited sour with a lot of berry puree. This has a raspberry, blackberry, blueberry, and strawberry in it, and it's a 5.5% ABV, so definitely would consider this sessionable in my opinion. But from what I'm seeing and what I'm seeing on Untapped as like similar beers to this, I'm expecting some really, really heavy, like almost smoothie fruit notes to this one, because if they're comparing one from the Brewing Project on here from their smoothie line, I'm hoping this is really, really heavily fruited and definitely not more in that kind of kettle sour realm. I don't think it's going to be for sure. Plus, if it's anything like their Pie Face line, which is like heavily fruited and has a lot of kind of thickness and higher gravity to it, I think this is probably going to be a pretty damn fantastic beer just because all these berries they put in here, I absolutely love heavily berried kind of notes in a fruited sour just because I think they work out so well. All these berries in here have their own kind of natural tartness to them. So I'm curious how all those are going to kind of linger, if it's going to be a pretty damn tart just because all four of the berries have a good natural tartness to them, or if it's going to kind of bring out more of those like ripened sweeter notes to this one as well. I don't know. I don't know what to expect with this one because they have a bunch of different ones from their Spin to Win line, and this is the first one I've tried from it. So without further ado, I think it's time for us to crack this guy open and see what this thing's all about. Okay, let's see what we get on the nose on this guy. Oh yeah, a lot of berry. Definitely lighter on the nose than I thought it would be. Definitely getting a little bit of raspberry on there. Definitely like a mixture between like raspberry and blackberry a little bit. Of course, the blueberry and the strawberry. Definitely more of those lighter fruit notes that are definitely not going to bring in those natural fruit aromas to it. But yeah, getting mostly just berries in my face, and I'm excited. So, gonna be drinking it out of my deciduous Beer Co. little sour glass, and let's see how this pours. Oh yeah, she's a thick one. Oh yes. So, of course, the one thing I like to do when it comes to drinking these heavily fruited sours, of course, I always recommend keeping it refrigerated at all times. And then when you take it out of the fridge, give it a nice roll on the countertop really quick just to get the kind of all the puree and the sediment in there kind of moving around a little bit. But then one suggestion I like to do is when you're like on the way to take it to where you're going to be drinking this guy, store it upside down just to make sure everything's always moving in there. You want to get all that puree kind of just like kind of suspended in there, not everything sitting at the bottom. So, and then of course when you pour it into a glass, pour like a little bit of almost half to under a half in there, swirl the can a little bit, and then pour more in there, because then you can get, look at that. That looks absolutely, kind of has more of like a brownish kind of purple to it, but that you could definitely tell there's like a nice kind of heavily fruited kind of hue to this thing. Getting a lot of the fruited notes. Almost getting like a peanut buttery kind of smell, which is weird. Definitely but I'm thinking that might be more like the raspberry blackberry because it makes me think of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich almost. But it might be those like jammy, almost kind of fruit flavors that I'm getting that kind of just give me that reminiscence of it. But it smells absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's give this guy a try. So cheers, everybody. Happy New Year's. Okay. Definitely not what I expected. Just because you're getting all those fruits in there for sure. Definitely has like those jammy kind of components to it that you would expect from like a heavily fruited sour like this one. But I'm almost getting a peanut butter and jelly element to this one, which is very, very interesting. So I don't know if this is like a PB&J kind of style to it, but because I'm almost getting like a peanut butter back note. Maybe they added a little bit of peanut butter at the end to kind of help those berries kind of lift up a little bit more, because when it comes to adding, like having a peanut butter and jelly kind of style beer, the berry notes kind of get help to bring out more of those jam flavors when there's like a slight peanutty kind of note to it, which to me definitely it's not like one cohesive, it's not like you're getting every single berry component at once. You're getting one cohesive berry flavor. You really can't pick out any like singular component out of the berries they use, which to me is fine, because when there's so many berries used in there with all the puree in there, you're not really going to be able to point out every single one of them. There's definitely a nice upfront bitterness. It's almost like definitely getting some of that raspberry bitterness along there, plus kind of getting like an unripened strawberry almost on it too as well, which overall, yeah, it's pretty solid. It definitely has that higher, like thicker mouthfeel that you would expect from this kind of sour, but when it comes to like the flavors in it, it's pretty damn solid. I would say I've had better for sure. I think when it comes to this kind of style of beer, I think Drecker and like breweries like the Brewing Project and kind of RAR and 450 North and all that kind of stuff have the flavors in your face when it comes to the recipe down a little bit better. But I like their approach to this. I like that they're trying out a new style. That, of course, I've had some of them for their pie face. I think I may enjoy the pie face line from what I've had from them so far more than this, just because it brings out more of those kind of pie components. Almost gives like a really, really nice like pastry, bakery kind of note, when this one, it's just like, to me, I'm slightly getting the peanut butter, but when it comes to the berry notes, they're there, but it's almost kind of like you're getting that singular berry component, but then it kind of seems like, I don't want to say it's a little bit muted almost, to where it kind of has like that watered down kind of thing at the end that doesn't give you like the whole punch in the face kind of berry flavor that I would wanted. So, looking here on Untapped, of course, before I read the description and all that stuff and the ratings, I always like to look at the similar beers to this one, because if you can't get your hands on this one, there may be similar beers out there that may be able to give you like a similar experience. So we got 4 on today's list, where we got one called 61 Kilometers from Yeast of Eden, which is, what is this guy? Let's look. It's a wild ale. I don't know if I'd really compare this one to be similar to this one, just because wild ales have more of that fermented sour funk to it. And let's see here. We got one from Skygazer Brewing Company called their Watercolors Raspberry, Blackberry, Mango, Peach Double Burner with vanilla and milk sugar, which, sure, you may be able to get some of those like blackberry and raspberry components to this one, but I think with that kind of mango peach kind of creating its own kind of thing at the end, might be a little bit different than what you expect. Let's see. We got one from an 1840 Brewing Company called Plumpy Black, which is naturally soured oat cream ale with blackberry, blackcurrant, black cherry, and lactose, which sounds absolutely fantastic. You might get some I think this one's had a pretty close to when it comes to the similar berry flavors you'll get. You'll definitely get more of those tart berry flavors. I think with it being an oat cream kind of ale, it'll help kind of incorporate those creamy flavors a little bit. Plus, it might help with the mouthfeel as well. And then we got one here from the Brewing Project from their Smoothie Sour line called BRB, which is blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, which, yeah, if you're looking for a good kind of berry front fruited sour, of course, I'm always going to recommend beers from Drecker. I'm going to always put the Brewing Project on there, and I think this Smoothie Sour BRB would probably give you, I don't want to say maybe a better experience in this one, just because I feel like they do their fruited sours, their heavily fruited sours, a little bit better than how Hoosier does it. But, so, if you can get yourself on the Smoothie Sour BRB from the Brewing Project, you're going to have an overall good experience. And in my opinion, I think you might get a little bit of a better experience than with the Spin to Win Quadberry. I'm just saying and how I think it is. But overall, this beer is still pretty solid. I just think some breweries have more of a better recipe where those berry flavors just slap you in the face. Like, it feels like you're getting slapped with berries and all that kind of stuff. This one, the berry flavors are there, but like I said, there's a slight mutedness to it. And then I don't know why I'm getting like a peanut butter flavor, which I feel like they would have described there being peanut butter in it, but I'm getting like a slight peanut back note. Almost, which they kind of put in the description of, but definitely brings out like tart, jammy components. It definitely has like more of those jammy berry flavors. And with tartness, I'd probably give it like maybe a 3 out of 5 for rating on tartness. There's definitely like that slight upfront tartness to it from those berries. So overall, yeah, it's averagely tart in my opinion. So let's look here at see what Untapped has to say about this one. Like I said before, it's a 5.5% ABV, which in my opinion, this is fairly sessionable. And with over 439 ratings, this one has an average rating of 4.13 out of 5, which is pretty good. Pretty good. But I don't know if I'm going to give it any close to like maybe a 4 rating on tap. I think I'm going to give it a little bit lower just because, like I said, it's solid. But this is like having those muted flavors kind of bums me out a little bit just because I want that slap in the face berry flavor that I'm known from getting from breweries like Drecker and 450 North and freaking like the Brewing Project. Those guys have it down completely well to where they know how to make a very, very solid, like heavily fruited sour. So the description they show on here on Untapped is our best foot forward yet on the Spin to Win series, combining the very bestest fruits we can find, in parentheses quad berries, which is a raspberry, blackberry, blueberry, and strawberry purees. And in parentheses they said all real fruit come at you strong in a perfect dance. Get your dancey shoes on and get ready to make your mouth say thank you very much. So yeah, overall, those berry flavors are still there. Like I said, it's not individual berry flavors you're getting. It's a very, very cohesive, just one natural berry flavor. You can't really pick out each individual berry flavor. It's just like a very, very unison, like a bunch of berries in one in unison on the palate. And overall, it's still solid. I like it, but it's definitely not up to the point to where I'd put them in the same realm as like the Brewing Project and Drecker and all of them. They think they have the recipe for what they started pretty good, but I think, in my opinion, it might still need a little bit of work, kind of getting that upfront, like, slap in the face fruit kind of note that a lot of these beers do a really good job at. So let's look here. I don't think anybody on my friends list checked this one in, so let's look here on the global ratings and see what people had to say. So this guy gave it a 4 out of 5. Let's see what else we got here. We got a 4.25, 4.75. We got a 4 out of 5 saying definitely berries, just a touch on the tart side, which, yeah, definitely say it has a good tartness to it. This guy gave it a 4.75 saying it's no jammy caddy, but it's damn good. And purchased at the Consumer Beverage Outlet, which is in is it Corners, Wisconsin? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's in Wisconsin. So knowing that this stuff's available in Wisconsin is a really good thing. And then let's see, we got another 4 out of 5. We got a 3.75 out of 5. We got a 4. I'd like to see another 3.75. Let's see, another 3.75. A full 5 out of 5 purchased at the Hoosier Brewing Company themselves. And let's see, we got another 3.75 purchased on Tavor, which is how I got mine. He described this as juicy and tart, but when you first bring it up to drink it almost smells chocolatey, but then tart berries hit and it has a sour finish. Yeah, like I said, that chocolatey note that this guy's getting, to me it's more peanut buttery than chocolatey, but definitely the tart berries are there. It definitely has a nice tartness to it, but overall, like I said, I want that kind of in-your-face berry flavor to be there just a little bit more, having that more of a natural kind of pure berry puree flavor. Like, you're getting, like, to me, you're getting this nice, like, very, very all-in-one berry flavor with a slight peanut butter after note, and then just finishes off like a water, like almost watery but tart at the same time, to me. But overall, it's still pretty damn good. I just feel like it just needs a little bit more work on the recipe, but that's just me. So let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings on this guy. Ratings are pretty, I would say, when it comes to people drinking this. I can see why it's that 4.13 kind of realm. But I don't know if I'm going to give it on my scale that high when it comes to Untapped. But looking at the can art here, let's see. Our first rating is always can art. And yeah, I like what they do for can art on here. It's very, very nice. It kind of have that spin to win kind of thing. So, of course, the slot machine is a good kind of touch to it, and having all the berries on there is nice. I like the detail they put in the can art in the background is really, really nice. Having all those colors, having those kind of the shapes and all that, I think is a really, really nice touch. Kind of just keeps you interested. There's a lot of bright colors. Of course, you have the quadberry thing, and then you have the Hoosier Brewing Company on the side. Telling you it's a fruited sour, and then it says contains sulfites, which is pretty interesting as well that they put that. But overall, yeah, can art's nice. I give this a solid 4 out of 5 for can art. It's definitely not something that is like overly over the top when it comes to the amount of detail, but with all the colors in there and the kind of the stuff that they put on there already, it's definitely enough to where it would catch my attention at a liquor store or a bottle shop. So overall, it's pretty solid can art. So let's see here. If I got this beer in a flight at Hoosier Brewing Company, would I get another one? To be honest, like, I like the berry flavor. I like it. With that slight kind of peanut buttery kind of note in there. The only thing that bugs me is it kind of waters out at the end, where it's not like that lingering berry flavor that happens at the end. I'd probably have one of these, and most likely I wouldn't get it another one of these in a flight. In my opinion, I'd probably go for more of the pie face kind of line that they have, because I've already had one from the pie face line before, and it's been really, really solid. I probably wouldn't go for this one again if I had on a flight. I'm just going to be straight up and honest. Like I said, the flavors are good. It's definitely a solid beer, but it's not solid enough to where I'd go back and get another one, in my opinion. But overall, yeah, it's still not bad at all. Not bad at all. So let's see what I'm going to do for ratings on this guy. To be honest, I think I'm going to give this one a very, very solid 6.75, almost a 7. Like, it's good, but you guys have heard me kind of ramble on what I like about it, what I don't like about it, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it, a 6.75 out of 5. Well, no, 6.75 out of 10 for me. If you see this one available near you, give it a shot. Who knows? If, of course, it's brewed out of Indiana, you can get this one in Indiana. And, of course, most likely it'll be distributed around Illinois and then kind of move its way up to Wisconsin, all that stuff. So if you have the availability to give this one a shot, I want to see what other people's opinions on this one are and see if I'm just, with my taste buds being, if they're broken or not, to be honest, because I've had so many fruited sours, or I've kind of gotten spoiled when it comes to some of the fruited sours that I've had that are just so damn good to where I try something like this and sometimes it doesn't live up to the expectations that I kind of have for this kind of style of beer because of specific breweries and all that kind of stuff. So, but overall, it's still a good beer. It's definitely still a good beer, but it's just not to the point to where I'd go out of my way to buy another one and kind of situation. But it is what it is. Everybody's flavor profiles are subjective. Everybody's palate is subjective. So let's see what else we got here. I think we're pretty much good to go on everything else. We gave our ratings and everything. So I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So again, thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are amazing. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. It'll let you know when I ever go live to another review. Got reviews planned for New Year's Eve, of course, which is the one we're doing right now. And then I got some planned for the rest of the weekend. We got a New Year's Day one, and then we got a bunch of other stuff planned for all the weekend. So keep an eye out for that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what else I have here. Of course, if you want to get your hands on this one, of course, if you're in the kind of the Midwest, you might have an easier kind of availability on this guy. But always recommend getting a hold of your local bottle shop, your local liquor store, see if what their distributor carries, and if they can get anything from Hoosier Brewing Company. It's always worth asking, because if they can, they might be able to bring it in and kind of get new stuff rotating on their stock and hopefully create some new favorites throughout that liquor store. But if you can't get a hold of it through that way, always going to recommend getting yourself on Tavour. It's a great platform. It's a beer delivery service. You just got to download the app. It's available on Android or iPhone, and then when you create an account, they'll let you know if you have the availability to get stuff shipped to you from them. So Hoosier comes up every once in a while, and see them pop up a lot, but when they do pop up, they sell pretty quickly, so that tells you a lot for the quality and the demand that this brewery has on Tavour. So, and if you want to possibly get a free $10 when you're creating an account, if you want to create an account, hit me up. I will send you a referral code where you get to get a free $10, and I'll get a free $10 as well, to where, hey, if we can both get free beer out of the situation, if you're able to ship it to you, yeah, sure, I'd definitely be willing to help with that. But other than that, if you're a craft beer drinker and you're on social media, I can't stress it enough, you need to get yourself onto Untappd. It's a great platform. It's, like I said, it's available on Android, iPhone, or if you're on the computer all day like I am, you can even use it through the desktop. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. You can check in beers, get badges, all that kind of stuff. Of course, you can see people like me, Kentucky, Dutch is on there, Logan's on there, the Typhon, Sean and Lizzie, the Angry Hippies themselves. Let's see, Bogan's on there, Lee, Not the Real Gerard Butler's on there. Kevin's on there. There's a bunch of people on Untapped just checking in beers and having a good time. And it's overall still really, really solid. It's just a really, really fun platform for beer drinkers. It's literally the social media platform for people that love craft beer. So I can't stress it enough. If you want to shoot me a friend request, my link in my profile is down in the description below for you guys. But other than that, that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to end this like I always end it before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time, people. Cheers.